OCD is not a brain disorder. Now, I know that's what you've been told. A chemical imbalance, a neurological condition, something you were born with and may have to manage for life. That's not what I have found. In every single case I've worked with, every single one, OCD is part of the personality that developed to protect something else. Today, I'm going to show you what it's protecting and what that means for how it actually gets resolved. Hi, I'm John Hawkins Jr. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and co-founder of Hawkins Counseling Center in Boynton Beach, Florida. This is the fourth video I've put out on what OCD actually is and why standard treatments miss what's actually driving it. If you're new to our channel, start with video 1, but this one can stand on its own. Here's what I want you to understand about the OCD part. It can't stop. Not because you're broken or that your brain is malfunctioning. It can't stop because there's another part of you that's holding something painful emotionally. An emotional wound. Something that got split off because it was too much to carry consciously and energetically. And until that part heals, until that wound is resolved and the energy is cleared from the body and the nervous system, the OCD part is bound to keep protecting it. That's not a character flaw. That's not the brain malfunctioning. That's loyalty. The OCD part is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And it refuses to abandon that part of you that needs protection. Here's something I tell clients early in our work together, that they were in tune with themselves when everybody was telling them about ERP and all these other cognitive behavioral therapies, and you just have to try harder and suppress and don't give in to the compulsion. But there was a feeling inside of them that they knew something wasn't right. When they sensed that the treatment was somehow missing something, they knew they were right, even though they may have doubted it. What happened was the person in my shoes as the therapist needed to be more curious and actually listen to them and not just impose standard paradigms on top of them. You are not someone who failed at treatment. You are someone whose inner knowing was more accurate than the treatment that was being given. And this is exactly why the other treatments weren't successful. They were working on the surface, but you knew the problem was somewhere deeper. So here's what I want to offer you that probably no other OCD treatments have offered. Instead of fighting the OCD part, what if you got curious about it? What if even for a moment, and I don't mean to diminish the suffering these parts cause, but there's even a part that you could feel not just curious, but actually appreciative for. I know that sounds very odd. This is a part of you that has caused a lot of distress, and I don't minimize that again. But it's also a part of you that developed typically early in life that's carried an enormous responsibility. It stepped up when something was too much. It said, I'll handle this and keep that wounded part safe. And it has been working without rest ever since that day. Typically, after we get to know these parts a little better and why they're having to do this, they will step back, as we say, and give us access to that wounded part so we can heal that part. But there are times that part is very resistant to stepping back. And in those cases, I don't push that part, but I bring curiosity and empathy to its fears. What is that part so afraid would happen if it stepped back and stopped protecting you in this way? And I express genuine gratitude for the responsibility it's carried and how hard it has worked, often for decades. That's usually when something starts to soften and shift. Let me tell you what this looks like. I worked with somebody who had intrusive thoughts about losing control. They have been told their whole life by many clinicians that their brain just worked differently, that this is just how she had developed. When I told her that the OCD part had developed to protect something, she went very quiet. And then she said, I've always felt like that. Like it was trying to keep me safe from something. That's not a broken brain talking. That's somebody who's deeply in tune with their own inner system. When we got curious about what the OCD part was protecting, and I expressed gratitude, genuine gratitude for how hard it had worked, then the part began to soften. Not because we fought it, but because it finally felt seen and understood. If you spent years being told that your brain was the problem, I want you to consider something different. Your brain isn't broken. Your OCD developed because something needed protecting. And the fact that you've always sensed something was missing from these treatments or off or just felt wrong, That instinct was correct. OCD is resolvable. When the part the OCD part has been protecting gets to heal, the OCD part, as hard as this is believed, will gradually transition to a new role. Drop a comment below if this resonated with you. Just and I knew it. Free consultation in the link below. I'm John Hawkins Jr., and I'll see you in the next video.